This body isn't my own. It was created for a purpose. Running is just a gift that I have and a privilege that I have. Not only that it's bring me joy and happiness, but it's also the reason that I was created. It makes me just more appreciative of the things around me. So knowing that the author of my story planned that for me, I'm just grateful for. Growing up, I used to always love to run. And I always like racing in the street with my cousins. Like I just always loved the competition of racing, and I love the feeling of winning.
The first time I actually seen her run, it was a 4th grade track meet, and they ran girls against the boys. And man, she was running, like, whoa, she's smoking. And I was like, man, she might have a little something doing this.
Growing up in Houston, Marlee Morgan was always a standout on the track, until the pandemic cut her high school career short. Still, she was determined to run at the next level. She set her sights on the University of Virginia. But with no open roster spots, she found another way in, as a student manager, waiting for a chance to compete.
I knew that I did want to run track, so I needed to like discipline myself. So I would come in during open hours and I would do the different workouts with the end goal in mind that I did want to try out for the team when tryouts rolled around again.
And in the fall of 2022, Marlee got a chance and came up just short of making the team.
She was so close to making the qualifying standard at that time. We knew that if she got any kind of structured training, that she would absolutely be able to hit her marks and make the team.
Unfortunately, Marlee wouldn't get that chance. Just months later, tragedy struck after a class trip to Washington, D.C.
It was a normal day. We were on the bus heading back to campus after watching a play. I was sitting next to my friend Lavelle. We were all talking and stuff.
I was asleep when Marlee originally called. And when she called, I could hear the kids in the background, and it just sounded so happy and so festive. Before she hung up the phone, she says, "Ma, we're pulling in."
Just moments before getting off the bus, a student who was on the trip opened fire on the passengers.
I just remember hearing like a gunshot sound. And so we scattered and I ended up laying on top of someone. Every time we would hear a gunshot, we would just like tap each other to like confirm like, okay, we're still here, we're still alive. I see the people around me like their bodies, but I'm like trying to get off the bus. I just remember as I'm getting off the bus, I'm limping. So I look down and I just see like blood all on the side of my pants. And I'm like, I'm shot, like I got shot.
It felt like maybe 5 minutes later, Marlee called and she says, "Ma, there's been a shooting." So I'm like, what?
I picked up the phone. She was just like, "Coach, I just got shot." And then it was almost like the shock and the realization of the moment was starting to set in. And then she kept saying, "Coach, I don't want to die. I don't want to die." And I was like, "No, you're not going to die. I'm on the way."
And it was real hard because I'm way in Houston, and this is my youngest daughter, and I can't do anything. I'm looking, trying to get flights. I'm trying to see how can we get down there right now.
3 students were killed in the shooting, including the friend that was sitting next to Marlee, Lavelle Davis Jr. Marlee, however, was one of 2 people injured, suffering a gunshot wound to her right leg that left her hospitalized and unable to walk. And in the immediate aftermath, she tried finding solace in her faith.
She was just talking about God, and she said we need to start praying for the families, but we also need to pray for the shooter. She humbled us all in that hospital in that moment.
Marlee returned home to Houston for the remainder of the semester, and while the physical pain was severe, the mental and emotional wounds began to take their toll.
Following the shooting, I was feeling so lost. These people are no longer here, and I still got to be here, so having to like kind of struggle with that, knowing like this could have been me, like I was on that bus, not even just on the bus, but right next to these people.
The hardest part was just not knowing if she was gonna get past the emotional part, because that was the thing that she would always tell me, like, Dad, I don't think the dream's gonna stop. I can't close my eyes. Every time I do, I can't sleep. I'm up all night.
She's not eating, she's not sleeping, and if she does drink, she's throwing up all over the house. She had to be hospitalized 3 different times.
I remember one day I was praying and praying. I was just like, God, like, I need help. I need you to show me that I can do this. One morning I woke up and I was like, I felt a little bit better.
And I kid you not, Ethan, that's her little brother, was downstairs and I was teaching him how to make eggs. Marlee came downstairs and asked Ethan, are you making enough eggs for me?
In that moment of being able to do again, something that lit up in me was just like, no, I'm not done yet.
Less than 2 months after being shot, Marlee was determined to get back to the track.
So I would get up to get ready to go to work, and she'd be up at the same time. I'm like, hey, what you doing now? She's like, Dad, I got to get it in because I still want to compete and run track.
She knew what her goal was, and there was no negotiation on accomplishing her goal.
In January, Marlee returned to Charlottesville, still carrying the pain of the shooting, but step by step, she found her footing again. And in the fall of 2023, less than a year after the tragedy, she finally realized her dream and earned a spot on the team.
I can't believe I was able to do that despite the injury, coming to the track after hours. It was just one of the best feelings that I've had.
I didn't think that she would ever run competitively again. Of course, I didn't cry because I try to be so strong for her, but in the inside, I was crying because I was really happy for her.
But making the team wasn't enough for Marlee. She's only gotten better with time, qualifying for conference and regional meets last season and setting personal records in events this year. And in 2024, in honor of her perseverance, commitment, and work ethic, UVA's athletic department dedicated an award in her honor, the Marlee Morgan Service Award, and she was its first recipient.
Anybody that is looking to aspire to be anything near or like Marlee, just know that we believe that that faith and that foundation is what carries you through those hard and tough times.
If you've been through something and thought that you couldn't come back or overcome it, then look toward her. She's an inspiration to make you say, no matter what I've been through, with my faith, determination, and focus, I can overcome a situation.